going, guys, and welcome back to another Q&A. Today we're joined with Mod Matt K.
All right.
Mod Jed.
Hey.
Mod Kieran.
Hello.
Mod Ash.
Hello.
And myself, Mod Archie. Mod Jed, if you missed him last week, unfortunately we lost that Q&A. It was gone forever. He's back. Don't worry. Still alive.
He's real. It's
Okay.
a figment of your imagination.
So we've got a bunch of Deadman stuff to talk about at the beginning of this stream, rather. First question coming from Bracken. Says, did Deadman pan out the way you predicted?
No, I think is the answer to that, because it was much better than we predicted, quite frankly.
Blew my expectations.
Absolutely.
Well, we only put out like 4 servers for it when on launch,
Yes.
and that didn't work.
full
Leave a
in
lot more
30
than that.
seconds.
Within an hour, we had another 4 on, right?
Yes, that's right, yeah.
We were like, we don't need Skippy. Let them do Tutorial Island.
Skippy went in 5 minutes.
Yeah, less than 5.
We had at least got Skippy prepared so that we could add him in a few seconds if we wanted to.
Exactly. I mean, one of the things we learnt from Darkscape was that a load of bots went in really quickly and had a bit of a bot problem in at the very beginning of Darkscape. So that's why we didn't put Skippy in to stop that from happening. We also had the paywall as a barrier as well, but that didn't happen. But so we put it straight in, didn't we? But I mean, it's the whole point of Deadman mode when we first came up with it. What we're trying to achieve with it was to emulate what Iron Man did the year before, and it didn't emulate it at all. It just went off, kept going up and up and up and up and up, and up and up and up and up and up. And those people tried it, which was great.
Like a rocket man.
Like a rocket man, indeed.
Yeah.
I see Paul in the chat. I completely sidetrack everything. Is my strength 0? Watch his new video about the money he made and how he
mention, definitely, yeah.
how he went and spent it on all those things. He did a great job. It's fantastic. So
stream,
everyone go watch that.
Raised, I think, 10
Yes.
grand.
Yeah.
Spent that all on toys for kids. Over
Absolutely
Christmas.
brilliant. I love that. That video was great. Well done, Paul.
Was that your head he had as an emote in his
Yes.
pic? Right.
We've got one of your. There's one of your face as well.
I'm sure there
It's
is.
doing face palm.
It gets everywhere, you know.
Somebody will do the Ash face palm emote.
Yeah.
Maybe know what it's called.
Yeah.
All right, next question then. Any updates in mind to spike activity in Deadman in the near future?
Yeah, one or two. So, Deadman mode, as we said, has been really popular. We've currently got about 20,000 people playing it every day. So it's much higher than we ever expected it to be. We've got to sort of work on maintaining that 20,000. That we want to sort of keep that at a steady rate. So what we're planning to do is in April next year release the seasonal servers for it. The way these will work will be every 3 months there will be a season, and at the end of the season we'll do a little competition. So effectively the top 5,000 people from the high scores at the end of each season will be entered into a tournament. This tournament will run for 4 days, and throughout those 4 days we'll start taking away all the safe zones, so it gets more and more dangerous. And at the end of the 4 days, 2 hours to go, we'll lob everybody into an arena, and then you'll all kill each other, and the last person's going to win $10,000. So it's a winner-takes-all 4-day long tournament. Be absolutely nuts. So that's the plan.
Live streaming.
Pardon?
Which we're live streaming.
Which will be live streaming, yes. So that's the plan from April next year. Now, the reason we're doing it from April next year is because in the end of March next year, we want to host the first tournament. The way we're going to do that is the current high scores for Deadman mode as it is right now. At the end of March, we'll take the top 5,000 people, we'll allow them entry to this tournament. The exact same thing will happen. So the last person standing will win $10,000. Winner takes all everything, which will be quite cool. Now, the way that, I suppose the biggest question will be, and one of the things that we were quite concerned about was that, should we end Deadman mode as it is at that stage? Because in a server like these, the seasonal server, you have to keep refreshing it and they keep wiping the data and what have you. So effectively, we're going to keep at least one Deadman server open constantly, a persistent one, so you can keep playing it as you are now, and you can keep that stuff going and take it from there, really. And that's the current plan with Deadman mode. All sorts of bits and bobs will happen with it as well. So, for example, you'll be able to vote on the rule set for each season. So if you want Dragon Claws in there, we can add Dragon Claws into a Deadman mode season. We can add PvP armor, PvP weapons, anything you like, we can add into it and make each season slightly different.
Higher XP rates.
Higher XP rates, yeah, absolutely. We can all play around with all that sort of stuff.
Lower drop rates.
So, yeah, exactly. So that's all the sort of stuff we can play with, and we can talk about that prior to each season. Have I missed anything? Permadeath, yeah, we can do permadeath if we wanted to as well. So it sort of hopefully will keep everything alive. But throughout all these things, the top 5,000 players at the end of each season will get entered into this tournament.
We said lightsabers.
Lightsabers, well, we probably have a few
Do that.
legal
Just
issues.
Put a glow
with
on
that.
like a steel longsword and just say.
Oh, we can make
glowing
lightsabers. You
steel
know,
longsword.
LucasArts might be knocking on our front door the next day, but you know, we could make them. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, the other key thing, as you said in there, Rot. How will they cope with it? How will clans cope with it? You know, we're quite comfortable with clans and people teaming up in it. I think when it comes to one individual is going to get this big lump sum of cash. How's that going to work within a clan? That's going to be quite fascinating. Because you sit there and you think, right, okay, if they manage to get 10 people into the top 5,000, 20 people, whatever, they all go in, there's a group of 20 of them. If they manage to be the last group of 20, which they probably won't be, because everyone's going to be lumped in at the end together, if it's them left over, then you're going to have all this massive infighting. And if you're going to have this clan, who's going to be the person that wins it all? And if they win it all, even if they agree, you know, we're going to share it out amongst, you know, the last few people alive, will they actually do it? Because it's a hell of a lot of money, and will the clan just implode because of it and, you know, not be able to do anything?
Clans
So,
also struggle to take over in a short period.
absolutely, I think so too.
It's much less of an issue than over the month or so that Deadman's been up currently.
Yeah.
That being said, if you have any questions about that whole, it's simply an idea at this point, obviously, but to be escalated. If you have any questions, go ahead and type them in the chat, and we'll try to get those answered by the end of the stream, because we will be taking some questions from the stream today, rather.
Absolutely.
And the battle royale is something different, right?
Yes, exactly. The Battle Royale is a completely different kettle of fish, which, you know, we haven't even got a design for yet. But we know it's something that particularly Boat is excited about. You know, we think it's going to be quite a cool thing, and we'll do other things based on that. And if we want to do competitively with prize tournaments, we can do that as well. The same with the tournament servers that we had earlier on this year. We can do prize tournaments with that as well. This is all in addition to what we currently have. So it's not going to replace anything else. It's there to do that. The main aim, obviously, of all this is to make people keep playing Deadman mode, keep the servers active, so the people who want to play it can keep playing it. And hopefully, that will all aid that.
Obviously, just keep enjoying it.
Absolutely.
That's what it's all about.
And if it's refreshing as a season after 3 months, you think 3 months is actually a lot of time.
Yeah.
That's enough time to reach end game content. You're going to have maybe even an Ellie, depending.
Yeah.
3 months. You
Yeah.
think about Deadman as it is right now. It's only been out for what, 2 months now.
Yeah, well, it's 6 weeks. 6 weeks today,
Not
in
even
fact.
2 months then, yeah.
Yeah.
So there's definitely potential for there to be something like an Ellie in the game by 3 months, and it's going to be interesting to see who has that and if they'll make it to the end
Yeah.
because of that. So
Now,
yeah.
there is a dev blog going up, if not very shortly, it's up already, which will have a few more bits of information in there, so please do have a read through that, and please do talk to us as well. But yeah, that's what we want to do, and we think that's the best way to keep Deadman mode at its current activity levels. So effectively, anyone from now who's playing it, get into the top 5,000 by the end of March, and you'll be in this new tournament, which will be happening at the end of March.
There you go.
10 grand.
You said it takes 2 months to get browse gloves. Definitely not
When
true.
you
There's
kill that-
a
you kill
bunch
that
in the
per-
game right
Yeah.
now. It's
Yeah.
not been 2 months yet, so.
You kill that person who's ranked 5,000 just 1 minute before the end of the 3 months. You knock them out of the top 5,000. You take their spot.
Question from Senior Kappa. How would you deal with the top 5,000 people staying logged out till day 4? That's fine. Okay, what you do, the way I see the tournament working is you log in, you've got 4 days to get your character to a level. That last 2 hours, those 4 days, your character as it is within that 4-day tournament server gets dropped in to the final fight at the bottom. If you are a level 3 with no items and no stats, you're going to last about 2 seconds, so it's not in your interest to stay logged out for 4 days and log in just for the last 2 hours. Once we hit those last 2 hours, no one else will be able to log in, so you're going to need to be logged in at that time to get transported into the arena, so that will protect that. And if you die during that time, that's it, game over. So you know it's going to be interesting. I mean, I really don't think. I think you're right. Clans aren't going to be an issue.
The top 5,000 thing is a separate 3-month server before we run the tournament version.
That's right. Yeah.
I think it'll be more or less tank test man mode for those last 4 days. Since you won't be spent kind of running around killing as many people as you want. You'll probably try to hide. Yeah, try to hide. You'll probably be trying to hide and stay alive as long as you can. If I can.
Yeah.
See.
I mean, you're going to want to get your combat up as high as possible. You're going to want to get some equipment to help in the last battle at the end.
You want some quests done for some places to hide.
Can you imagine how chaotic that thing's going to be? The last 2 hours.
Yeah, exactly.
So many people in one place. It's gonna
But we'll have some live streaming. We'll see everything that goes on and how long, these thousands of people will last in the last 2 hours, all in one arena where they can't escape each other.
There'll be 126s with questscapes, all the hiding spots, best gear, going at it for 10 grand.
I think so.
Fun. Cool.
But if you want to get in the last 5,000 or top 5,000 of the current high scores, now's the time to do it. You need to be there to be involved.
Right. We've got a few more Deadman related questions before we can restart Mod Ash, but we'll get there. Right.
Netflix
so
and chill.
these are from the community. I'm getting intimidated right now. Oh man.
Been a long day, don't mind me.
So these are some suggestions that have come in from the community. We've obviously touched on a lot of these even last week, mentioning stuff like the PJ timer and all that, which are all flawed in the end. But so about this one, what do you think about the removal of being able to use noted food in potions on a bank chest in Deadman?
The issue we had with that was that if we get rid of that, people will find a way to, doing it by entering the clicking quick enough to get into your bank and get something out is a good thing to do.
Right.
But that is completely automatable. You could get a bot to do that, and that is the issue we have with, if we get rid of that, people will just have bots to jump in and out, and then it becomes incredibly unfair.
Unless we put like a 3-second delay on it, like you can't take out food.
But then nobody can then use their skills to be able to do it,
Right.
which is what is a good thing to do.
And the way it is, it does help you tank a clan more readily.
Yeah.
It's also it has become an established way that people tank PKs. So I think it'd be a controversial thing to change.
Mm.
Yeah.
As we can see, a lot of people are for it and a lot of people are against it.
Yeah.
I think it's more for clan picking than it is solo, so a good chunk of the community is going to be against that one. But it's just an idea. All right, grace period for new accounts. Discuss this one a little bit before.
Grace period. Again, it makes it easy, doesn't it? If
It is
you-
all these suggestions are essentially
Yeah.
make the game easier for
That's
you.
the thing. The whole point about Deadman mode, which again is why the tournament will be a one person takes it all, is it's supposed to be harsh. The whole thing about it is it's supposed to be difficult, and anything which lessens that difficulty makes it not what it should be. We've got to focus really when it comes to Deadman mode on why people want to play it, and it is because you can win everything or you can lose everything. When people die, I've seen people throw their headphones across on live streams and across their room and what have you, and you think that's the reason we do it, because I've got shares in a headphone company, and no, not really, because that feeling, that emotion that it creates is what gaming should be
What
about. It's
headphones
about
company?
really no
It's very fun to watch.
Astro Turf or whatever it's called.
AstroTurf. Isn't that a surface?
Could be.
There's an interesting. There's a whole lot of these really cool ideas that sound cool, and then you really think about it, you're like, okay, no, realistically, that could not ever happen.
Are these
but
ideas as good as putting AstroTurf in your ears?
just about,
Okay.
just about on par, I think. Right, and the last one then is better training areas in safe zones for noobs to level up without being slayed, which I think is a bit more reasonable.
Yeah,
of a
I think that
request.
makes a bit more sense. I found that when I was leveling up, you could do it, but it was very difficult to do it safely and make a profit doing it, which you need to make money to start buying the first bit of equipment.
It's also very overcrowded, of course. Even the goblins and lumberjacks aren't safe. It's like,
Yes.
where can you go? There's a few
Yeah,
places.
the safest place was
That's it.
Gnome. Was the Gnome place.
Oh man.
Sorry, I'm ruining your training area, aren't I?
The,
Chris doesn't know how to PK, you see.
the Terrorbirds
I'll teach him
are-
one day,
and the
but,
tortoise, they're safe.
So yeah, training area
That's
to the Gnome place, and you've got you can level up there. You just can't get any money while you're doing it, which is a difficulty there. But then that's probably quite a good thing, 'cause it's forcing you out into the area to do it.
Quite overcrowded though. Look at expanding that area or something like that. Really, I don't know.
Yeah, potentially.
Or even just making the goblins safe. Then again, that's where like the majority of the slaughtering happened on day one, which was fun to
Yes.
watch.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
All right. And then asking if we can go into more detail about the Battle Royale mode. We've kind of already done so.
I mean, the thing about that, I guess, is we don't know what the detail is yet.
Yeah.
Because, you know, the idea of Battle Royale, there's the comic that you were talking about, wasn't it? It was where it originally came from, the anime thing.
What was the Hunger Games?
Yeah, the Hunger Games came from Battle Royale, didn't it?
Right. Okay. Yeah.
There was an old anime.
Copied that for something
Yeah.
else. I can explain the idea.
Yeah,
if you want.
yeah,
Sure.
you do that. Yeah.
Okay. So there's a whole bunch of little ideas from different inspirations around, but it's basically just like imagining dropping everybody down as 126s in one area, and it sounds very similar to something else, but you're all dropped around in a circle, right? And in the middle, there's a pit with these chests with like dragon claws and weapons and armor and food, etc. But before you can get there, you have to go through these like agility obstacles, something else, something blocking you, or you can just decide once the timer's done to run away and hide in the forest and stay alive as long as you can. Right? That's the idea of the Hunger Games.
Yeah.
Which sounds like a really cool concept for a video game, which is already in a few different video games how they decide to do it. But I think there's a spot there for Old School.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely fit.
Absolutely.
But the idea of like everybody being the same level, and it would eliminate that grind period and jump you straight to the last few days of action. You wouldn't have to go through months and months of grinding and competing and saying, oh, I don't have 10 hours a day to dedicate. I don't know if I can compete seriously. More for the casual, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Fun to watch.
But I mean, I suppose out of all this, one thing that is definitely going to happen is end of March this year, there's going to be a tournament where the top 5,000 people from the high scores as Deadman mode stands at that time will get into this tournament, and the winner of that tournament will win 10 grand.
Yep.
And that's what we're going to do.
That's huge.
Which is nuts, quite frankly, and I'm really excited we can do that.
Right. Move on then. Actually, I've got a couple more Deadman questions, but we'll come back to those. We'll come back to them. Don't worry. Eraz Till asks, is there any lore behind items like the draconic visage? Is it just that the dragon's face falls off?
I saw that question. I was hoping
What
you'd
more
ask
lore
that.
would you possibly want than the chance of the dragon's face falling off?
Could we have a faceless dragon then?
What, like a draconic backside? That would look
Creates
awesome on this
noxious
ship.
gas.
Draconic wing.
All right. Obviously not a very serious question.
I think Oziak, if you talk to him, does talk about how he's heard you might be able to stick something on one of these, and he talks about how if you can find a suitable visage to stick on it, it might be possible for him to stick the two together. I don't know how much detail he ever goes into. The dragons were created by the Dragonkin, right? I'm not very good at some aspects of RuneScape lore. Right, Maz confirms. Well, it could be that there's a few joints that can be deconstructed and reconstructed. But I just thought the idea that, yeah, the dragon's face falls off.
What happens to the other 9,999 dragon kills?
You've damaged their face so it can't be used. You are standing there hitting it from in front of you, aren't you?
Which might be why some of the metal dragons are the best place to get it, because...
Harder faces.
Yes, that's right.
There you go. RuneScape lore written on live on stream.
So, if we get an angle grinder in RuneScape,
Yeah.
in the same way that you should be able to, create horses in RuneScape by using a saw on a unicorn, get the horn, and end up with a horse. But yeah, we could totally run with this lovely lore idea. Thank
That's
you.
a great
Claire.
reference. Yeah. Okay, we've lost the chat. Apologies. Luke asks, will Zora scale fishing be revised? It seems it hasn't fulfilled what it was intended to do.
I don't know, whenever I've gone looking, there's been people doing it. It's not supposed to make everyone want to stop training on monkfish or sharks and go and do this new thing instead. And I'd have been quite concerned if it had. It could afford to give more scales than it does, though.
Yeah. It's
I'd have to
definitely
love that.
It's definitely quite active, as people are happy with it in that aspect. But I think people just wanted it to lower the price of the scales, or sorry, raise the price of the scales.
Lower the price.
Is it lower?
Yeah, lower.
I'm lost. So
Has it done that?
Well, I think we'll
not
see
quite now,
what.
they're higher.
Well,
Right now, they're high, yeah.
At one point, they kind of dropped on the assumption they'd be flooding into the game and that they'd be worthless, so people started kind of dumping them. And then they found that we weren't flooding the game with them, so they went back up again.
Yeah, I mean, it'll settle down over time. I think it's a long game, this one, isn't it, rather than expecting immediate reaction.
I think it's difficult to track 'cause people are flipping them, which manipulates the price. So
I think we could get away with having more, although it's not something we have any big data on.
No, we need to find some data.
big data.
We'll look at the price in a few weeks' time. It'll give us a better idea than it does now, at least.
Yeah. I think Christmas, I will open up my Christmas presents and hope for some big data in there.
If somebody sends you a whole load of work-related information as your Christmas present,
I don't say have to be
sucks.
work-related data. You know, it could be other
It'll
sorts
literally
of
be a
data.
copy of Microsoft Excel.
Oh, man, I'll tell you what, I would. It's brilliant.
Yeah. I just read a comment saying somebody help Ash, he's burning.
I'm cold.
There's
He's on
actual
fire.
fire on your head.
That's why I'm wearing a scarf. I'm still cold.
Yeah. All right. Will the new Santa hat rewards from the Christmas event be tradable?
No.
For Jed?
Not currently, no.
No, not tradable. Okay.
Yeah, we've done it with every Christmas event since, haven't we? That we have not added any more tradable holiday items into game because people don't want it really. So we've got the tradable ones already, and they will stay tradable, and the new ones won't be.
Yeah, and we will be re-releasing the tradable ones again with this event. So
Cool. And if you missed it, if you missed Jed's tweet, there is a like inside out Santa hat. with, like,
yeah, there's an inverted Santa hat
Inside
and a
out.
black
That's what it looks like.
or inside out.
Yeah.
We change that.
We're gonna say it's inside out.
An inverted one. It's probably
If
the
it
right
were
word.
physically upside
Oh
down,
God, yeah, that'd be amazing.
Balance on your head.
like some kind of conical cup for catching rainwater or something.
And then there is also the black and white one.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Cool.
Which is quite cool.
Exciting. And that is due to come out next week.
Yes.
Yes.
On Tuesday.
It's looking very good.
Yeah.
Talking of things from previous year's events, what are we doing with the music tracks?
So yeah, if you haven't got the holiday tracks from previous events, you'll have to finish this event before you will unlock them. And I think that will go towards the music cake being trimmed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this will give you all the Christmas event music. Yeah?
Yes. Just a Christmas one.
Beautiful. Hands up if you've played it. Christmas event. It's
I don't know
great.
it's finished yet.
Very good.
Yeah, it's done. Yeah, it's sitting there in
Oh,
the thing.
all right.
Yeah, no,
I'll give it a
it's,
go.
yeah, that bit where you have to and collect those things.
Spoilers.
See,
already.
somebody
It
tweeted me
made
saying.
me cackle like a. It's
Somebody tweeted
brilliant.
me saying I don't even want to do the Christmas event because you spoiled it for me. I was this close to replying. You have no clue.
No, absolutely.
You don't.
It's going to.
You hate having to deal with those brats, right?
Yeah, it's going to surprise many people. The Christmas event will, I think, and
I think I have a very.
maybe we put our own
impressive
twist
player.
on it as we do, don't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Can't wait.
That's next Tuesday, guys. So Gilbinator asks, will you consider adding an extremely rare and extremely difficult to catch wilderness impling with a 90+ hunter requirement that roams the wilderness? Another fun way to hunt skillers, sounds like.
Yeah.
Yeah, no reason why not. I don't think Hunter really needs. Does Hunter need more high level stuff?
Quite badly.
Does it? Okay, well, there we go.
It's it was written with the expectation there'd be more batches of Hunter to be designed and created after the initial launch, and then that didn't happen.
If we gave it a mysterious emblem, that'd be the best way for skillers to get mysterious emblems, which would give them access to the bounty hunter shop.
Yeah, that makes
That'd be
sense.
nice.
We
I
still
like-
definitely have room for bare-handing implings, that sort of thing at the higher levels. Plenty of ideas, I think we have.
Oh yes, that
Yeah.
I see what you mean. Yes.
I like the idea of group hunter content. And we spoke ages and ages ago about mammoths. Big mammoths, not crappy ones with eyes on the side of their head stuck in the wilderness, but proper big mammoths. And when we first talked about what we could do with mammoths, we came up with this idea of you'd get a group of people hunting the mammoth who'd force it into up against a cliff wall and you'd drop a massive rock on it.
Oh,
And-
come
and kill it.
on.
Which is how, apparently, well, I looked at the time and that's how they used to kill mammoths.
Yeah, but
oh,
then I
well.
watched Ice Age. Now I don't want to kill mammoths.
Yeah. So that's what
Yeah.
I was thinking, but some sort of group content where you have to work together as a team to hunt something to get the hunter XP from catching it.
How about you just like get together and just push it over, and then you take its stuff, and then it just gets back up and walks away.
Mammoth tipping, yeah. Somebody can kneel behind it and be like, bonk.
Here's a thought. Though. If we to start with the wilderness impling, and that's something for a solo person to go and
Yeah.
hunt, then that person themselves is a thing for a clan to go and hunt.
They get hunter
That's
XP.
what I was thinking, yeah.
Ooh.
Hunting skillers. Sounds like fun.
Yeah.
All you have to do is stand next to a wilderness impling, don't catch it, wait till you see a skiller catching it, then you catch him. Hunter becomes the hunted.
Yeah, that's very good. Still want to kill mammoths though.
That's more of a Bronin.
Still want to do mammoth tipping.
Welcome to his fantasy world.
Okay.
Yes.
So-
But anyway, we have the option of doing something, maybe on Zaya with Wintertodt, of course. That could have a hunter element to it as well, of course.
With mammoth tipping.
With mammoth tipping, you could tip mammoths onto it.
Make the mammoths like look mean if we're gonna have to kill them.
Oh, absolutely. His big
don't make them,
tusks
like,
and
cute.
They got to eat possessed mammoths.
Yeah.
yeah,
Then we won't feel so bad.
undead mammoths.
Or kind of futuristic mammoths, otherwise known as elephants.
Very good.
We can't hunt elephants.
Oh, wow.
They could all be called Stampy.
Or they explode like chinchompas.
Exploded elephants.
Okay. Slightly off topic.
Dynamites.
See here. Quincy asks, with Zaya's first batch of content being released shortly, can you tell us what exactly will be the first release and what the requirements will be for everything?
The second question is an easy one.
Yeah.
The requirements for the first batch of Zaya is nothing. You can go there as a level 3 straight off Tutorial Island and engage with it. Stuff you'll find there, I'm not going to give you a list of everything because again the whole point about Zaya is all about exploration, finding new stuff, and sort of that whole feeling of something being brand new. So things you probably should already know about are the Blood Altar, the Soul Altar, which we both polled. Was it passed, 92% in the end or something like that, wasn't it?
1988.
Yeah, that's massively huge. So that's great.
Minigames.
There's the
Minigames?
there's Necromancy Spellbook,
Right.
which we're going to give you no details about because that's going to be quite exciting. We really want you to sort of investigate that yourself. We've got a few mini games. We've got a cooking mini game. We've got a farming mini game. We've got
Mining.
mining mini game. We've got mini games are not go to an area and then be transported off the main map into an instance and disappear. The majority of them
They're
are
like skilling activities,
yeah,
more so than like
yeah,
a
exactly.
mini game. But
So I mean, it's a different way of skilling that thing, really, isn't it? What else have we got over there? We've got a whole load of lore stuff going on as well for all you lore hounds out there. There's going to be plenty of stuff for you to read up and try and understand the history of the continent and particularly the first city and where all that happens.
Matt's writing lore.
I've been writing lore with words.
Scary.
I've been writing
Really
poetry.
scary.
That's powerful
No
stuff.
one's read it yet. That's the thing.
Right.
So it could all be absolutely awful.
The
but-
history of Shazian, where they hunted mammoths.
They hunted mammoths by tipping them over. And
Okay.
so the mini games, like we said, they're not a case of you go to somewhere, you get teleported off. There's a big, a red star on the screen. Everything takes place, or the majority of stuff takes place on the main map. So you will see people doing different activities around the city. That's the whole point of it. It's all about doing stuff together, making the place feel busy and making the place feel excited, and that's what it's all about. So.
Yeah, as for requirements on the different activities, it's really varied. There's some low-level stuff, there's some higher-level stuff,
Yeah,
stuff that's aimed at being pretty decent at making GP, stuff that's good XP rates.
yeah, it's all designed to be alternative ways to skill and to encompass everybody. So whatever your account makeup is like, there is something there for you to do and a different way to skill or a different way to do things. So that's great. They like your T-shirt as well.
Woo.
There's people spamming it there.
We forgot to mention the 2K total requirement.
The what?
Oh, did we?
The what?
The 2,000 total level requirement. Okay, never mind.
No. Oh, okay.
And
Yeah.
the quest game as well.
Yeah.
Also, the chat's discovered tab enter. That's great. Moving on then. General Raw asks,
Oh, there's a question about quests on Zaya as well, which probably ties in quite nicely now.
I just replied to this guy on Twitter.
Did you?
Unbelievable suit.
Well, so hopefully the answer was along the lines of we're not adding any quests in the first batch because adding a quest is quite a lot of it's quite a big job, and Zaya is quite a big job. And if we decided to try and launch a quest at the same time as Zaya, you'd be waiting till kind of March. So we're not putting any in straight away, but Zaya has a lot of scope for there to be stories told, partly uncovering more of the lore that Matt's been talking about, and partly just exploring some of the characters we're introducing, because there's a lot of people there who can have stories to tell about them,
Absolutely.
and a lot of things to unlock and reveal in future updates.
So yeah, huge amount of potential.
In particular, something Alfred made for us, it's not entirely clear why he made it, but it looks utterly awesome.
Yes, I think that's the reason.
Oh no! Don't spoil that. That's a
this
secret.
looks rather
I'm
cool.
not saying what it is,
Okay.
but it looks
doesn't really
amazing.
look. It doesn't really look cool.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
It does.
It does look cool, but not
Okay.
cool.
I get
Good
it.
luck with
Yeah,
that.
you follow.
Yes.
It just looks like we need to write some stories about what the heck that thing's for
Yeah.
and why it's there.
One of the interesting things I think that will come out of the new continent in particular, especially the first city, will be what questions people ask, because I think that will direct us to what we do immediately afterwards. So if people are asking, what is that, why is that, how is that, then that sort of gives us an idea of where we're going and what we should be focusing on more of.
What the heck do they do with that thing?
Yes.
I think there is value to get out of the really short quests that there's quite a lot of around the current map. Like Cook's Assistant sort of, not that simple, but that short. Those style quests, without going with a big graphics budget and massive story arcs.
One Small Favour was quite an extreme case of a developer trying to write a quest with very little graphics budget. He got one monster, hence the Slagilith, and there's not a lot of custom stuff in there at all, and yet he made a quest that's been remembered for years.
Well, it's only because you get the keyring from it. That's the best part of the entire thing.
And it's a prerequisite for Swan Song.
You get the XP lamps as well.
Oh god, yeah. It's true that.
Right. Back over to Deadman then. I missed the Deadman questions. Let's jump to these two from the top actually. Pigeon asks, are there any god swords in Deadman yet? We
No
can't
idea.
track that right now.
We can't, I can't track it right now, so I can't give you an answer.
Pull your phone.
Yeah, hang on.
Have all
I'll
this
just
data ready.
email.
I would
Yeah.
imagine so.
Same question for the Questscape, of course. I would imagine there would be a Questscape by now. God sword,
People have the
Like-
God Wars items,
yeah.
so I've
But-
seen if people got like a Staff of the Dead.
Yeah.
I've seen
Have
people
all
with
three shards.
other Bander's items, so surely someone's managed to get a God Sword.
I hope so.
Maybe. You kind of hope it's Wooks for the first one, to be honest.
Yes.
We'll find out.
Wooks has one, says somebody in the chat. Says
Um,
Noonie mate.
Right.
Email the
Or-
data warehouse. I would do. They're working on something else for me at the moment.
Wooks
So.
has got a Bander's God Sword, supposedly. So I imagine there's more than that, maybe, as well.
We'll have to see.
Yeah, everyone's saying Wooks has got a BGS, so they must be right.
I'll check.
Trust the Twitch chat.
Yeah, never trust Twitch.
We were thinking, okay, it'd be interesting a question to ask them about what we plan to do for what we wanted to do for Runefest this year. I can't remember if I mentioned it to you. I certainly mentioned it to somebody about having at our Runefest thing next year to have little signposts with Kappa faces.
Oh
on
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
So we could say, can we get a Kappa in the room, and everybody could put a little Kappa faces and have a little string thing.
So we had an
on
awfully
top.
timid crowd at RuneFest. I
We
think
did,
they would
yeah.
prefer to use Twitch emotes.
Yes, exactly. That's what I'm thinking as well. That's one thing I missed from
It's
doing
like
that is you don't get
To
the
give them a more simple language to communicate.
yeah, Francazese. You know, we have to get a dog
You have to use
barking in the
words.
background or something.
Yeah, we've just lost the chat. All right.
Someone said dog, didn't you?
Yes. Anyway, that will become any conversations we have.
Wiggled asks, again with Deadman, do you have any plans to remove the Champions Guild instance from Deadman?
Yeah, well, I'll get that fixed.
Okay. Are we looking to make that either a safe zone down here or just put a time
I'll
on it?
probably prevent you going in when skulled, something like that, like we've done for most of them.
That worked for Soul's Bane.
Cool. So then the only one left would be the waterfall? No?
Waterfall isn't instanced.
Well, that's true.
Well, it was written before the days we could instance things. It's not entirely clear to me why so much of the Champions Challenge is instanced, to be honest.
No, I don't think there's much reason for it to be. So.
Okay, cool. Mueller asks, can the range capes perks also give the +4 range attack bonus that the accumulator offers?
I'd rather not, to be honest. I'd rather keep the stat. I mean, you can combine a max cape with an Ava's if you want the stats.
I don't have a max cape. Come on.
Well, the range skill cape, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'd rather not because I'd like to keep them all the stats of the skill capes the same.
Okay.
The idea is just to give it the little boost.
Yeah, makes sense.
Skirtin, can we get a pouch or a backpack to store birds' nests in? Would make woodcutting a bit more profitable. Woodcutting is pure profit. You don't lose any money doing it, but
A
A pouch to keep your bird's nests.
yeah.
But that's
You go to the bank and bank all your logs. Why couldn't the bank the bird's nest when they do that?
Maybe they're dropping the logs?
That's true.
dropping that one. Still get to manage to get what?
You're not going to
28?
bank very often
Yeah.
if you're doing that.
Yeah.
It seems a bit odd.
I think the next
In all
question
honesty.
after if we did something like that would be, can you make the bird's nest automatically go to my backpack or whatever?
Yes.
So I don't have to pick them up. And then also, can we have ivy? We want
Pretty
after
much,
that.
yeah.
Yeah. You know, a nice feature where you click on the ivy and like 20 minutes later you come back to your computer and find you've got a nice
No.
bucket full of bird's nests.
The one thing is bird's nests do disappear very quickly.
They do.
That's possibly something we might want to look at
That we
changing.
can change.
Could also do something with the eggs. They're still quite...
God omelettes, I think,
Done.
still is the best idea, don't you?
Well, it's my favourite. And all the ones we've had for can we turn them into a pet? Well, if you've stockpiled a couple of thousand over the last 2 years we've been running the game, you're not going to want 2,000 of the pet. And even if you want 2,000 of the pet, you're not having 2,000 of the pet. So,
But the thing is, there's only a use for one of each egg then. So
yes. It was suggested that we could create a pet out of the first one and then you feed it with all the other ones. But that's a little bit grim even for my taste.
Yes.
Look on
What
your
on
face, you've got
earth?
priceless for
What
that.
on earth?
Not grim for our Jed here because we've seen the Christmas event.
Yeah.
All
It'd
right,
be like... No, I'm not going to say that.
relevant question to the original question.
I'm not better of that.
Can the rabbit's foot necklace actually increase the chance of receiving bird's nests?
We released a skill cake perk for
Yeah.
that. So this isn't a great time to release something else that isn't a skill cake what does it.
Okay.
Of course, if at the moment it increases the chance of the nest having an egg in it, which you
Yep.
don't want, because they're useless. So either we make them useful, at which point it becomes beneficial to have the eggs, or we could make it go the other way and make you more likely to get some seeds that you maybe did want, because they have a use.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, I think that sounds like the best solution. Because the seeds, the tree seeds, are what make the money.
Or we could make the ones that contain a ring contain a better ring, if you're lucky because you've got a rabbit foot on your neck.
Yeah.
That's a funny form of luck.
No one wants the rings, even if it has a diamond ring in, frankly.
Yeah, I was just trying to think what else it
Yeah.
could have, like a pot of cash instead.
It could give
well,
you the chance of a random event of a massive rabbit turning up to beat you up for hanging a foot around its neck.
For what it's worth, when I was back in 2012, when I was working on the other RuneScape, I was asked to do some kind of distraction and diversion for Hunter. And I thought what would be fun is maybe you'd follow the white rabbit down the rabbit hole into a kind of Wonderland-esque area and have to hunt the dormouse that's got lost in a giant teapot. And then I thought, hang on, I don't have anywhere near the graphics budget for that kind of stuff. So I wrote the Big Chin Chomper instead. But that's where the idea started. You can see I went downhill a bit.
There we go.
All right.
We could actually add an onyx ring necklace at like a 1 in a million chance of something ridiculous. Just for that moment when one person gets ridiculously
Yeah.
lucky and pulls it out.
Yeah.
Berserker ring.
When in doubt, berserker ring. Matt asks, can the town crier's messages be displayed a little bit longer? They're gone before I can read them.
Yes.
Okay.
This is your question, Matt.
No, it wasn't my question. Of course it
Great,
wasn't.
you implement
You're
it.
very enthusiastic about this.
It's very
Would you like to
important.
tell us how you tried to achieve that in a cutscene recently?
Yeah, well, it could be done, I think, with these as well. So you just stick a delay on the NPC and then make him say it again, and then delay him, make him say it again. It just stays over his head.
Give the NPC auto chat.
Yeah.
Job done.
Good idea. Can you be filtered if I don't want to hear it?
Yeah, we wouldn't want it to be too long.
I want to kill the
The thing
town
is, they're not
criers.
in very popular areas. It's
And make the town criers attackable?
why?
Because the same reason you want the dwarf attackable, wouldn't throw stones. We've not made that attackable yet.
No.
We really do need to do that.
That's what went down so well in those cutscenes in Swan Song and in My Arms Adventure where he gets killed by all the characters in my quests.
Okay, two things then for next year, certainly. Town crier and that dwarf who throws the stones being both attackable somewhere in the game.
Gold sink?
And the gold sink. 3 things for next year.
Those are on the list of like
That's our strategy.
Must-haves.
17,000 must-haves. Yeah. Man, I think you're slightly out of the picture.
Am
there.
I?
Trying to
No.
lean out, ditch us. Okay. Let's see here. Urza asks, can the smithing skill capes perk be reworked? When you have 99 smithing, you're not most likely to be using it for XP gaining, but rather as a profitable skill. So he says, perhaps give it a percentage of smelting 2 bars instead of 1, or using less coal per bar smelted.
Certainly open to ideas, and any idea would have to be pulled. But I mean, yeah, the reason it does have the goldsmithing gauntlets is because there's not really that much you can do with it.
Yeah.
We could go down the coal route quite happily,
Yeah.
especially as I centralised a lot of the smelting code the other week for a bug fix for something else, and since then it's been a lot more convenient to do stuff to what it requires when you're smelting.
Is there an achievement diary that gives you a chance of losing less coal?
I believe so. So it might be able to do something similar.
If they could stack.
Stack with it a little bit.
Pretty good. Okay. What's Mod Jed's next project after the Christmas event?
He'll be helping with some Zaya stuff, I think.
Yeah, no doubt it's going to be on Zaya.
Yeah.
You've got a lot to do.
There's also that job that passed a poll 37 for a bank all button on the fishing trawler rewards interface. Now, the reason we've held that one back is it's a reasonably simple interface job, which makes it an ideal training project for someone who's learning how to do interface stuff for RuneScape at the time. So we were kind of holding it for you, but we don't have to.
Maybe none of us wanted to do it. Enjoy.
It's called delegation. It's great.
All right, let's see here. Trigger asks, can the Karamja Elite Diary reward us with noted bars from the Metal Dragons in the Brimhaven dungeon?
Whew.
That's very powerful.
Well, yeah. They're iron and steel, but still.
Someone had an idea for using it to get access to a room in there with an anvil in, at which point you'd use the bars, maybe make something stackable out of them, or maybe get some smithing XP from them, chuck the thing you've made.
Alchem, maybe.
Or alchem, yes.
Yeah.
And that would still be in the same ballpark, but without having huge numbers of bars just coming out of it.
That's true.
Oh. It would be nice to have something useful.
Probably just make a bunch of dart tips, arrowheads or something.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have to take a space.
The problem is the smithing XP just isn't very good. So it suddenly becomes it's just not worth it still.
Yeah. I think they just
That's
see
the
the
problem,
bars
that's the issue.
disappearing, and
Yeah.
it's just sad.
Well, given the way they're dropped, I'm really not surprised they're disappearing, but
I imagine it
anvil-
was just sort of done for effect. The steel dragon, and it was going to drop perfectly formed steel bars.
yes, and occasionally its face falls off.
Yeah, back to this again. When the dragon can have really clever.
Yes, I like when people talk about GM creatures and whatever, they don't expect the face to fall off.
Oh dear.
All right. Green Knight asks, can the dragon square shield protect from dragon fire? It'd be a nice way to have a mid-tier shield to use against dragons.
I do like that.
I think the dragon square shield's like the best looking shield in the whole game.
Would it
The
have
most
to? It would have
unused.
to require Dragon Slayer or
I think so.
a certain part of Dragon Slayer
You could
to have
combine
the
it.
effect.
Yeah, you combine it with an anti-dragon breath
Don't-
shield somehow or other.
Maybe with the draconic face stuck on the front,
Don't
so
they-
it becomes all these things.
Well, that'd be interesting, actually.
Got it off Twitter.
They drop one of the halves of the shields. Dragons, surely they do.
I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure they
will
can
do,
call
yeah.
the airdrop table, which means they can.
There you go. Makes sense now.
Do you think that's
More
worth a
sorting.
straw poll?
Sure, you can drop all that.
Should the Dragon Square shield act as an anti-dragon shield?
Right, well, we get that straw poll in the chat, rather. Stroll. Go ahead and vote on that. Next question then. Biomaster asks, could our equipment screen show us the attack speed of our equipped weapon, similar to how the monster examine spell tells us the
I
attack
like
speed
that
of
as
the
well when
monster
I saw
we're
that
fighting?
question. I think that's a very good idea.
I like that.
Is that possible?
I didn't quite catch it. What were you saying?
Depending on the weapon they have equipped, can the equipment screen show them how fast
Oh, heck
that
yeah.
weapon is?
Yeah. I think the only reason Monster Examine has it is that Maz redesigned it very recently to show as much as she could get, whereas the equipment interface is pretty old and none of us has been much involved in designing it or changing it.
Would it work with staffs and autocast?
Well, the thing about AutoCast is it's all the same.
Yeah.
So, no, it would give the weapons melee
Yeah.
rate, which there's not much else to do with AutoCasting, really.
Wow, that's a very surprising poll there. So, should the Dragon Square Shield act as an anti-Dragon Fire shield? Passing with 87%. Now,
Yeah,
the
that's
complication
really
with that is the question doesn't have with the requirement of a visage attached to it.
Or just the
I don't-
quest even, Dragon Slayer completed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think people want the Visage because then they would just get a DFS because that's the price
Exactly.
of a DFS.
Yes.
And you don't have very many 60 defense peers anyways, so.
The idea is just a mid-tier, something that was actually got
Yeah.
decent defense stats.
Okay. And this would not give it a strength bonus or anything, or
No, it would literally just have the anti-dragon effect.
that's cool.
Sounds good.
Okay. Let's see, where are we now? Enter asks, suggestion actually, Barrow's rejuvenation suggestion. He says, can we get a transparent dye / mutagen that can be used one time on a Barrow's item? That's his first question. There's a second part, but thoughts on that? So,
Was that missing the to do what?
like the
thing?
transparent purple see-through.
Oh, right, okay, gotcha,
Barrow's
right,
guys.
yeah.
So you can get like a helmet that was transparent purple like that,
Okay.
or maybe a Darok's axe or something like that. Same effects, just purely cosmetic.
There's quite a lot of different versions of all the Barrows items. And if we start having a recoloured version, that means duplicating every version of all those items.
Yep.
Which is not impossible, but it gets pretty unwieldy.
They also
with
have
just
all the
one
degrading
alternate form.
stuff.
Precisely, that's why there's so many different versions
Yeah.
of it. So, if we did it through from one variant, that's an extra 150 or so configs. If they then said they like the option of being green rather than purple, that's another 100 and something. It gets pretty big very quickly. I mean, compared to the fact that a typical update has like 2 new items, if we've got one little cosmetic thing that adds over 100, that's a very big deal.
Yeah.
And it's a big time in QA as well as development, so it'd be a massive, massive amount of work.
Not the least, which is every time we do anything in future that involves editing these things, it increases the chance of us doing it wrong in one of the obscure cases. Like when the GE came out, you may remember I accidentally made a half-degraded Darok's axe be free-to-play.
Yep.
Rather than members.
Remember that.
I mean, we sorted it the next morning, but when you've got hundreds of items and they end up needing to be edited for whatever reason, you end up with a very much higher chance of making mistakes. I think there was a chance we'd have an error like that somewhere in all the configs we had to change for the GE. I was hoping it would turn out to be like Equa leaves or Dwellberries. Just my luck, it was blinking to Rock's axe. Sorry.
Yeah. I suppose, I mean, the other thing as well about that is it feels weird to have somebody dressed as a pink blob running around.
That would be a little odd, I suppose.
It doesn't quite fit. And if you've got armour which is see-through, such as this armour, you would see what you're wearing underneath it, which is suddenly a whole other kettle of fish.
Well, no, even if you just had like the dragon boots and gloves and fury, and it would just like.
But it
Yeah,
just
that's true.
feels odd and not the right thing to do, really.
Now, the invisible kit from the Desert Treasure Ghosts, the Secret Ghosts, who talk about the Curse of Zaros, there's only like 5 pieces of kit for that. So if we ended up making a pink version of those so that you could be a semi-transparent pink ghost to make yourself happy that way, then...
I'll tell you what, I'm going to look on Urban Dictionary later, pink ghost, and see what it says. It's got to be on there, isn't it?
What's the Barrows Brothers' favourite music genre?
Oh no.
The rock and roll.
Very good. Very good.
I'd say don't give up the day job, but...
Yeah.
It is the digit.
I did happen to like this idea more than the Barrow's Pets idea. But as for thinking of like a rare reward for Barrows, doesn't look like this is going to be the one. But
I mean, the thing for Barrows, I guess, which we were playing with ages and ages ago, was a necklace that dropped that, when worn with the Barrows armour, enhanced the set effect of the Barrows
We've
armour.
already done that.
Damned, yes.
Yeah.
yeah.
We launched it.
Did we?
Yes.
Oh God, that's a great idea. That was. Blimey.
Yeah,
It needs a buff, I think.
Did I design it
We
as
could
well?
give it a buff.
We gave it a
well, you
bit of a
designed
bump.
some stuff. It's not quite what we ended up polling and launching, but
Oh, there we go. Look at that. That was a great idea.
Nice one.
yes, it
Yeah.
comes out the
Teamwork.
chests under Mortiston. The description on the amulet says that it's an heirloom from an ancient family of Mauritania.
Yeah, I thought
So
that one got
presumably-
dead and buried at some point, but yeah, there we go.
Yeah, and dug up from those chests
Yeah.
under Mauritania.
Oh, sweet. Oh, I like that. Oh, that's brilliant. Completely forgot about that. How many updates have we done now?
Today was release 141.
Right, so that's the reason why I didn't remember. We've done it. We've done
Unforgivable.
141 updates. So, yeah.
Of course, it also means that if you ever had an idea while you were under the influence one night and wrote it down, there's always a chance we might have gone and launched it.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, most likely.
All right. Moving on to a cool idea here from Mr. Axeman. Can the that area? Can that area in Zaya come with some form of lava transportation?
You mean for transporting lava?
I like that
I'm
idea.
like canoeing down a river of lava.
Because there's certain lava bits all over the world, isn't there? So
Yeah.
you could teleport to some of those different. Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
That's really clever.
Doesn't make much sense to go from one star area to the next because they're so far away, and it's not
Well,
like
if you're
a
travelling through the lava
teleportation portal.
rather than
A lava teleportation portal.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So it's all
Well, your ideas are just flooding out today.
yeah, they're gushing out like lava out of a volcano. But yeah,
How about you have to use an upturned steel dragon carcass as your bow to defend yourself from the lava?
Is this the back end when the front fall off?
Yeah, exactly.
gas powered.
Very productive Q&A.
One thing I should mention is the thing with that lava race is not coming in the first batch.
Yes.
When you say
Despite
race, are we letting them race them?
Why not? Eh?
Yeah. Sure.
Dragon carcass racing.
Yeah. The higher level dragon you kill, the faster your dragon carcass is.
Okay. KBD.
We got any more serious questions left, by
We
the
do.
way, before we run out
have
of
a fair
time?
few left, actually, yeah. Let's see here. Can we expect any surprises in this year's Christmas event? We've already pretty much said yes.
Yeah. You wait to see the artwork.
Coming Tuesday.
Yeah.
Hold tight. This next one actually has an image. It's from Ricard. Asks, thoughts on these potential new Castle Wars rewards? So there you go. So I think the more controversial option here is the explosive cannon add-on.
I'm certainly open to a buff to a cannon with some.
It almost sounds like it fired chin chompers at that point. The granite sword. It's a nice fit in the middle, kind of like I imagine like a bracket.
Yeah,
blade.
I like-
I'm pretty open for the granite sword.
I would like to see more granite stuff.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
cool. The Castle Wars ring I thought was cool because I completely forgot that in Castle Wars, if you're wearing one of the gods' pieces, you turn into like an imp in a sheep.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah.
How on earth would you swing a granite sword? I mean, we have a granite maul, so I mean, the
Probably more
question
easy
doesn't
then.
need to be answered.
Yeah.
But
there's a troll general who's got a humongous kind of cleaver made out of
careful how
granite.
you end that sentence.
Cleaver made of granite, and
He's also
how
got
he's-
cleavage made of granite
it's
because
quite
obviously
an
he
alarming
makes
looking
stone.
weapon. I'd love to get one of those for players.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
The last idea was it
God, birds.
bird pets.
But yeah,
bird pets.
I wouldn't get any pets from that.
Yeah.
All our pets have to be rare.
Yeah, I've got to be hard earned.
We do have a pet from a mini game already, the Barbarian Assault.
Yeah, that's true.
We've been considering one from Pest Control. That was a cool idea.
We have to make it a gamble option rather than just get 1,000 tickets and buy it. Then,
True.
That seems reasonable, like we did in Barbie Assault.
yeah.
Okay.
You can get it as a random thing from the catapults if you manage to hit somebody with a catapult.
Maybe
Get the chance of getting a little catapult that follows you around. A little trebuchet.
That'd be pretty cool.
Baby trebuchet.
Maybe the pet would be the sheep.
What about a flag? A jumping flag. That makes more sense.
Moving on.
Great idea. Okay. Should we swap all that or no?
This is how design happens.
No.
Yeah.
Not quite. Okay. Good try.
We could at least for construction go down the route of having a dancing chair that follows you around. So you've got the animation for that
That's-
from Draenor Manor.
That's still my favourite idea for a pet.
I think there's more than enough support for that one. Bieber Lover has a suggestion here. Says, Legends Cape.
Was that Ronan?
No. Legends Cape should have a teleport that takes you to the front of the Legends Guild. Is that OP?
I don't think so. I mean,
I
what
don't
would
see
you?
why not.
Yeah, I
Not
don't.
really.
I can't.
Nothing there. Apart from the Legends Guild, I suppose.
I think it gives the fastest teleport to the fairy rings, it said.
Yeah, because there's a fairy ring nearby, so you get you.
I think that's fair, though.
Yes.
If it was the best fairy ring access in game, I wouldn't have a problem with that. Gives the Legendscape a use, people have been after that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Okay.
Agree.
Cool. Trance, let's see how much time we've got. A few more questions left. Trance asks, can we add areas onto Zaya where we can kill existing Slayer task creatures, such as Bloodvelds and Hellhounds, to stop with overcrowding?
I imagine there probably will be at some point in the future, not in the first batch, but I'd imagine at some point I could see it happen.
Did they say task only for that?
Did not,
Just wondering.
but I imagine so. If you're trying to do a task and they're already crowded, people just.
There is an
killing them,
idea for a Slayer content over there, isn't there? In the
There's definitely the
future
space for it.
phases.
Considerably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'd imagine we'll see something over there at some point.
And it'd be nice to address for wyverns. I'm not sure if that was mentioned, but they're one of the things I get asked about more often.
Absolutely. Still not spamming Ebola in the chat very often, are they?
Somebody's
Here's
saying
what they would have
Gadash
done.
to a doctor. Is there a doctor in the chat? Next question then.
It's way of a Zoidberg, aren't we, really?
Yeah. Ian Bale asks, any plans to repole sailing in 2016, or will you be considering a different skill?
Probably repole it, I would expect. A bit of work on it, but I'd imagine that we'd repole it at some point next
Okay.
year. Yeah.
You were having that survey about things that people wanted to see done, that, well, things that they wanted to see changed about it. Now, a lot of it, I think there was people saying they wanted to see more done with existing skills before we went anywhere near a new skill, which is quite legit. And with Zaya, we are doing a lot more with existing skills. So it could be that having addressed a lot of these desires, maybe people might start wanting sailing more. But I don't know what other answers you were getting.
Fix AFK in, which we did. Fixed thing in, which we did. Slash in. So we got those two sorted out. They're the two
we
big
didn't make
ones.
sailing AFKable.
Yeah, no.
It looked weird, actually.
It would be, mind you. You just sit on the boat and watch as you sail along, watching the ships roll in, etc. Yeah, so that was two of the big ones which we fixed. It was doing stuff with existing skills, doing something with fire making was another one which we've got plans for that as well. So I think we will probably be quite a nice position summer next year to probably start thinking about getting a bit of feedback on the old design and repolling it. I think.
Okay.
Would make sense to me.
There's a reason we didn't rush out to cannibalise all the concepts that were in sailing to turn them into other content to launch sooner, because, well, we thought you might start wanting it again in a different form, or after these other changes might have come through.
I think it's benefited of showing a bit more off as well.
Yeah.
And also, I'm totally cool with doing more stuff with existing skills for a bit first, because, hey, that's fun too. I'm having a lot of fun writing stuff for Zaya.
There's an interesting question from the chat. Can you only choose one house in Zaya or multiple? Well, you actually gain, if you gain points in one house, you'll lose in the others. But, so you can assign yourself to multiple, but you can only get so many points in each. You have to balance yourself out. You'll lose less points in the house that are more friendly with the house you're at, but you'll lose more in the others. This is very hard without saying house a lot of times.
Would
Yeah.
Maz like to voice over an answer to that one? Do you have a microphone? Well, she'd like to, but she can't. Okay, so you stuck with that.
So if you gain 1 point in one house, its neighbours you'll lose half a point, and in the non-neighbours you'll lose 1 point.
Yeah. And
That's how it works. So there'll be, and then everything will have different alignment requirements.
Yes. Maz can now speak.
Pretty much what Kieran said.
Yeah.
That was
And the other thing as well is
Confirmed.
the other thing as well is you don't have to stay in the one house you choose from. You can change houses at some point in the future. So if you get 99 favour or 100 favour, whatever we're taking it up to, in one house to get access to that piece of content that gives you, work on that for a bit. You can then go and get 100 favour in another house and then get that access to that bit of content. So you can always go back to the house to work on the different.
The only detraction
things.
is it would take you time.
Yeah.
You have to go and do the menial labour task to really help out and become
Yes.
friends with that family.
Exactly. For example, if you want to get access to the high-level farming stuff, you're going to have to start by pushing a plough through a field, which is about as manual labour as you can get, really.
And there's a kitchen in Hasidius as well that you would actually have to have 100% aligned with that house, and to be able to use the kitchen, which has lower burn rates. So I think you would stop burning sharks at 90 with the cooking gauntlets rather than 94.
Yeah.
Just a little boost.
But all the best stuff, obviously, is you're going to require the highest favour with that house to access. Because it'd be silly to do it otherwise.
Generally, the tasks that don't give you very good XP, don't give you very good rewards, will be the tasks that you'll start off when you've got 0 alignment and use to become more friendly with that place.
Speaking of Zaya, there will not be a Let's Design Zaya live stream today, guys, unfortunately. Sorry to say that. Mod Ghost and Mod Alfred are just way too busy right now working on getting that finished. I think they hope to bring you another one before the end of the year,
That'd be nice. Yeah.
so you can catch up with their progress. But yeah, until then, that will conclude this week's Q&A. Thank you for watching.
Before we do, Deadman stuff, there's a lot of people who might have missed what we spoke about Deadman in the first sort of 20 minutes or so.
Yeah.
There's a dev blog now up on the website. All the information is in there. You can, of course, watch this back. It will be on YouTube in the not too distant future, and you can obviously watch the past broadcasts back as well.
Cool. All right. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next Thursday.
Goodbye.